What's up everybody? Welcome back. I know it's been a long time since I've recorded a video. I do apologize. I am not going to make any excuses. I'm just going to provide some results. I am planning on getting back into a more consistent schedule with my uploads here. I got a lot of cool things I've been working on and I'd like to share with you guys. So I put out a video probably close to a year ago now on Laragon, and that was a local Apache web server for your local environment using MySQL or MySQL for its database. And I went through how to set it up, how to install it. I also did another video on how to basically build a website on Laragon. Today's video, I'd like to show you how to take a local website that you've created and upload it to a domain. So there's a few things you're going to need, and I'm not going to go into super detail here. I'm going to keep this pretty straightforward. I'm going to assume that if you're building websites locally, then you are somewhat familiar with domain names and web hosting. So you need a domain name, which is your website name, and then you need a hosting provider. If you don't have one already, I highly recommend SiteGround. I have used 3 or 4 different hosting providers, and SiteGround hands down has the most consistent uptime. My website speeds with SiteGround are super fast, and I can't say that about the other ones I've tried. So I will leave a link in the description for my affiliate link for SiteGround. It doesn't cost you guys any extra, but it helps me out a little bit if you use it. So I would greatly appreciate it. Moving on, I'm not going to be plugging everything here. So let's move into it. Here, I created this in Laragon and Elementor. I literally just took a pre-built template from Elementor. This is not an Elementor video. This is not how to use Elementor. So I didn't go through how to create this. I just imported the template and we're moving on from there. So I have test-blog-site.test, and Laragon uses .test for its ending URL structure there. Right now it's local. We can see here on www. I have test blog site. We're running the Laragon server. So if we go to it, for this tutorial, I'm going to use my website, and I'm just going to do an add-on domain for this website. So I'm using dancorya.com. It's a website I have. I'm not actively using it right now, but it is live hosted out there. So I'm just going to add a test-blog add-on domain to it. So currently, if we go there right now, it's nothing. I'm going to put this local website on a add-on domain. So to do that, you're going to need access to an FTP client, which I use WinSCP right here. You can use FileZilla, you can use whatever you want to use. Personal preference, for me it's WinSCP. And again, this tutorial there's many different ways to do what I'm showing you how to do. I'm not saying my way is the best way. I'm just simply showing you what has worked for me. And if it's not the right solution for you, there are others out there. So your FTP client in the root directory, so in my case, that's mydancorya.com. And then your hosting provider. You need to get hosting or log into your hosting and then go to your cPanel. In your cPanel, I'll show you. In your cPanel, you're going to have somewhere in there that says WordPress, whether it's auto installers, WordPress tools. It might be named differently depending on what hosting provider you've gone with. But essentially, this can be pretty easy to find, and you just want to look for a WordPress install. I'm going to click install. It defaults in SiteGround, and it should with all hosting providers default to the latest. And I'm going to put this as test blog, site name, my blog, whatever. You can change all that later. The admin, user, super secure password, and then email address. Now you can select plugins. This is related to SiteGround. Your hosting service might offer this, or it might not. I don't know. Limit login attempts. That's pretty self-explanatory. And classic editor, as of WordPress 5.0, they have started using Gutenberg as the block style editor instead of the old WYSIWYG classic editor. You can still use the classic editor because they're still going to support it for the next few years. I'm gonna keep it unchecked. I'm just gonna use Gutenberg because I like to stay up to date with the latest things and not live in the past. So I'm just gonna click install, and here we have it. I have just installed WordPress. It's my primary domain / really just a directory. So we're going to go to the administrative URL, which if you guys are familiar with WordPress, everybody knows that. I like to use hide my login. I think that's the plugin it's called, but Basically, it hides the WP/admin. You can rename it to whatever you want to name it to, and it helps secure your site even more. And to keep your website even more secure, don't use admin as your username. Anyway, if we come right here and we click on visit my site, it's going to be your boring 2019 default WordPress theme. That's okay. We're not looking for that. We are going to bring in this website. So to do that, let's come back to our dashboard. Oh, and I said we install it to the 5.2.2 is the latest version. It's 5.2.3. So I lied to you guys. My apologies. We're going to update it now. Great way to keep your website secure, keep your plugins and your WordPress version updated. So plugins, add new. The plugin we're going to use is called All-in-One, if I can spell, WordPress or WP Migration right here by ServeMask. We're just going to install it and activate it. Now we have it here, and you'll see it over here, and that's it. That's the plugin. Now this is on the website location we want to import our local site to. So to do that, we need to go to our local site, which is on the .test. We need to export this. So we're going to do that by going to dashboard and plugins, and you guessed it. Again, we are going to install the same plugin. Activate it, and then we can go ahead and do any updates now. If you want to, you don't need to, you can do them later. Okay, and once you have all your plugins updated, and that's not mandatory in this process, I just like to keep things updated, and we are going to export this site. So all-in-one WP migration export. With the free version, export it to a file. You can export it to FTP, Dropbox, all these options here. It's part of the Pro version, and I like to do as many tutorials based around free software and free solutions. So we're just going to do file, and as soon as you click file, it's automatically going to start the export. Now since this is exporting from your local environment, it might go pretty quick. It all depends on what your system resources are, your allotted memory and all that kind of stuff, your processor. And there we go, it's finished. Big green button. This is a 61 megabyte site because it's just a template, and I created a file, WP Migrate, and you can rename this whatever you want to rename it, but it is very important to note you keep the .wpress file extension. That's a must because that's what the plugin looks for to do the migration. I'm just going to save it, and that's done. Now we're done here. Let's come back to our live website under our add-on domain, or whatever yours is. It might be your primary domain. And we are going to do, you guessed it, import. And you can import from, you can literally just click and drag the file. Now this might take a little longer depending on your host, because you're no longer using your system resources, you're now using your server resources. And also depending on the size of the website. And there we go. It's importing it, checking extensions, compatibility. So this is saying the import process will overwrite your website, including the database, media, plugins, and themes. So since we're doing this on an extension or on an add-on in a different directory, it's not going to affect the primary domain. In your case, if you are using your primary domain, you just installed WordPress on it and you want to import this, this is totally fine. If you are about to do this over an existing website that you don't want changed, now's a good time to hit close. Otherwise, you're good to go. We're going to hit proceed. Your site has been imported successfully. So it logs you out, you just log back in, and then if you are using Elementor Pro, you just reactivate the license. Boom. So now when we go visit our new website, which is our domain, in my case it's an add-on domain, visit website. Boom. Look at that. And we are now no longer on the local host, the .test, like this one. I'll show you here just so you can see it. Test blog site.test and live domain on a add-on domain. So there you have it, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. If there are any areas that were confusing to you, feel free to bring them up in the comments. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up. I've done a lot of trial and error in my career, and I've found a lot of different things that work for me, and I hope that they work for you. But you know, not everything always goes according to plan, so I'm here to help if you need it. And just before signing off, I just want to do a quick recap. We started with our Laragon local host, started up the server, previously had built a quick app WordPress, installed WordPress, did a whole theme and whatever design. We designed a local website, which we can see here, right? We got it looking exactly how we wanted it. So all we did was installed all-in-one WP migration on the local site. We went to our hosting provider. We, in this case, created a directory on my root primary domain. In your case, it would be whatever domain you purchased from GoDaddy or Registrar or wherever you got your domain name. And then you install WordPress on that domain. So you have WordPress on both the live website and the local website. And then you install this plugin on both of them. And on your local environment, you do an export. On your live domain environment, you do an import, and remember to keep the .wpress file extension on your export, otherwise it won't work. And then after you're done importing it on your live site, you just go to your permalinks. Now, sometimes this has worked for me and other times it hasn't. Just coming to the permalink and hitting save, if it's not working for you, that should fix it. I know it sounds weird, but sometimes it works out of the box like it did in this video, and other times it's completely broken and I have to come in here. You don't need to change the post name or the permalink. You just need to hit save on whatever it currently was set at. And that's it, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, this is Dan the Man signing out.